So you're thinking about moving to Carlsbad, California. And honestly, I get why. You see the beaches, the weather, Carlsbad Village, the restaurants, the shopping, the trails, and all the beautiful neighborhoods. And from the outside, it can look like a pretty easy yes. But visiting Carlsbad and actually living in Carlsbad are two different things. Because once you live here, the questions get more practical. What does your budget actually buy? What part of Carlsbad fits your lifestyle? Are you okay being further from the coast if it gives you more space? How important is walkability? What will your commute really feel like? So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the real pros and cons of living in Carlsbad, California, so you can decide if it actually makes sense for you and not just for a weekend trip, but for everyday life. Make sure you stay until the end because the last con is one of the biggest things buyers underestimate when they start looking at homes here. Hi everyone, I'm Cherie Harrington and I'm a real estate agent here in North County, San Diego, and I help buyers and relocation clients understand Carlsbad and the surrounding communities before they make a move. Let's start with the pros. The first pro is obviously lifestyle. This is the main reason so many people are drawn to Carlsbad. It has that coastal Southern California feeling, but it still feels livable. You have the beach, local restaurants, coffee shops, parks, trails, shopping, and places like Carlsbad Village where you can walk around, grab dinner, or just enjoy being close to the water. And that's a big deal from people that are relocating from places where outdoor living is more seasonal. Here, your day-to-day life can feel very different. You can get outside more often, go for walks, spend time near the beach, enjoy the trails and open space, or just have more of that indoor-outdoor lifestyle people come to Southern California for. But not every part of Carlsbad gives you the same version of that lifestyle. Some areas feel more coastal and walkable. Other areas feel suburban, residential, and spread out. So when somebody says, I want the Carlsbad lifestyle, the next question is, what does that actually mean? Do you want to be able to walk to get coffee, be near the beach, have more space, get easier freeway access? Those answers can point you to a very different parts of the city. The second pro is weather. Carlsbad has the kind of weather a lot of people picture when they think about coastal San Diego County. It's generally mild, comfortable, and easy to enjoy year-round. But even with the weather, coastal Carlsbad and inland Carlsbad can feel completely different. Closer to the water, you might get more marine layer, cooler mornings, and that overcast coastal feel at certain times of the year. As you move further inland, it can feel warmer and sunnier. So even though people think of Carlsbad as one city, your day-to-day experience can change depending on where you are inside the city. The third pro is convenience. Carlsbad gives you a coastal lifestyle, but it also has a lot of everyday convenience built right in. You have grocery stores, restaurants, shopping, medical offices, parks, and easy access to communities like Encinitas, Oceanside, Vista, San Marcos, and other parts of North County. That matters because when you're relocating, you're not just buying a pretty house, you're buying a routine. Where will you get your groceries? How far are you from the places you go to every week? How easy is it to get to nearby cities? How does the area feel when you are not on vacation and you're just living a normal everyday life? For a lot of people, Carlsbad works because it gives them that coastal feel without feeling disconnected from normal everyday life. Another pro is that Carlsbad gives you a nice balance between coastal living and a more residential everyday feel. Some beach cities can feel very busy, very tight, or very vacation heavy all the time. Carlsbad still has popular areas, especially near the coast and the village, but depending on where you live, you can also find neighborhoods that feel more relaxed, spread out, more practical for day-to-day life. That balance is a big reason that people love Carlsbad. You can have access to the beach and the coastal lifestyle, but you may also be able to find areas that feel more calm and residential once you get away from the busy spots. For relocation buyers, that matters because not everyone wants to feel like they're living in the middle of a vacation area every day. Some people want the beach nearby, but they also want a normal routine, easier parking, neighborhood streets, grocery stores, and a home that feels practical for real life. So Carlsbad can offer both, but again, it depends on what part of the city you choose. The next pro is housing variety. Carlsbad has a mix of condos, townhomes, older homes, coastal properties, larger single-family homes, master plan communities, golf course communities, and more residential inland neighborhoods. Some people want something low maintenance near the coast. Others want a larger home. Some care more about the layout. Some want newer construction. Others would rather be farther inland if it gives them a little bit more home for the money. So there's options here. But if this is where we get into the cons, those options come with trade-offs. The first con is the cost of living. Carlsbad is a desirable coastal city in San Diego County, and the cost reflects that. For a lot of buyers, housing is a big adjustment. If you're moving from another state or a more affordable market, what your budget buys in Carlsbad may look very different from what you're used to. And it's not just the purchase price. You also want to think about property taxes, homeowners insurance, HOA fees if the home has one, utilities, maintenance, and the general cost of everyday life. That doesn't mean Carlsbad is the wrong choice. It just means you need to look at the full picture before you fall in love with a home online. The second con in Carlsbad is that not one size fits all. This is probably one of the biggest mistakes relocation buyers make. They hear Carlsbad and they picture the beach or the village, but Carlsbad is bigger than that, and the different areas can feel very different. Some parts are closer to the coast and they have more of that beach town energy. Some are more tucked into residential neighborhoods. Some are closer to shopping and restaurants. Some are closer to the freeway. Some feel more quiet and suburban. None of these are automatically better or worse. It just depends on your lifestyle and what you want. But if you're only looking at listings online, it can be hard to understand the feel of each area. Look at the map, the roads, nearby amenities, the commute, and what your everyday routine would actually look like. The third con is traffic and commuting. Carlsbad can feel relaxed when you're spending time by the beach or walking through the village, but that doesn't mean commuting is always easy. Depending on where you live and where you need to go, a drive can change a lot. If you're commuting south towards San Diego, east towards inland areas, or even around North County during busy times, you want to test that drive before you make a decision. And don't just check how many miles it is. A home might only be a certain amount of miles from work, but the time and stress of the drive can be completely different depending on the route and the time of day. So if commute matters to you, treat it like a part of the home search, not something you can figure out after you move. The fourth con is walkability. This depends heavily on location. A lot of people imagine moving to Carlsbad and walking everywhere. In some areas, that can be part of the appeal, but not every neighborhood in Carlsbad is walkable. Some areas are great if you want to be near restaurants, coffee shops, and the beach. Other areas might be better for space, privacy, or a more residential feel, but you'll probably be driving a little bit more. So when you say you want walkability, get specific. Do you want to walk to the beach? Do you want to walk to dinner, to coffee, to a park, around your neighborhood? These are all very different things and may lead you to different parts of Carlsbad. Another con is that the most popular parts of Carlsbad can get busy. This is especially true around the beach area, Carlsbad Village, restaurants, shopping areas, and certain main roads. On weekends, holidays, summer days, or during events, some areas can feel much more active than they do on a quiet weekday morning. Parking can also be something to think about, especially if you want to be close to the coast or in a more walkable area. And this is where buyers sometimes have to be honest with themselves. Being close to the action can be amazing. You may love being near restaurants, the beach, coffee shops, and places to walk around, but that can also mean more activity, more cars, more people, and less of that quiet residential feel. So again, when it comes back to lifestyle, do you want to be close to everything, even if it feels busier, or would you rather be a little further out and have more space and a calmer everyday routine? That answer can completely change where you should be looking in Carlsbad. The last con is the trade-offs. This is the one I really want buyers to understand. In Carlsbad, most people do not get everything on their wish list without making some type of compromise. You may have to choose between being closer to the beach and having more square footage. You may have to choose between a newer home and a more walkable location. You may have to decide whether an HOA community makes sense for you or not. You may have to choose between a larger yard and a shorter commute. The buyers who do best are usually the ones who know their top priorities before they start touring homes. They understand what matters most, what they're willing to be flexible on, and where they don't want to compromise. So is Carlsbad a great place to live? For a lot of people, yes. It offers a beautiful coastal lifestyle, great weather, outdoor space, restaurants, shopping, beaches, trails, and different housing options. But it's not perfect for everyone. If you want the the lowest cost of living, Carlsbad may feel expensive. If you want everything to be walkable, you need to choose your location carefully. If you commute regularly, you need to understand the drive. And if you're relocating from a different market, you need to know what your budget actually buys here before making assumptions. The real question is not, is Carlsbad good or bad? The better question is, which part of Carlsbad actually fits the way I want to live? If you're thinking about moving to Carlsbad or anywhere in North County, San Diego, feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to help you compare areas, understand the market, and figure out what makes the most sense for your lifestyle, your budget, and your long-term plans. I'm Cherie Harrington, and I'll see you in the next video.